All right. Sorry for that long intro here, guys. Let's see what we got. All right. You guys hear me? Get this stuff sorted out for myself here. Somehow or another, I updated my software and I lost my microphones again as usual, having mic issues. So, anyways, we'll just jump into it. This episode's dedicated to mental health, suicide prevention, and just statistics in the construction industry. I gotta get myself sorted out because I lost track because I went into emergency mode trying to get this microphone working. Hey, Dirty Dirt. That's an interesting name, Dirty Dirt Garage. Reorganize. Turn that off. Okay. Got your guys' chat up. East Coast, nice. What union? Or are you just so operating engineer, so you must be part of the union. Local 4, Boston. Wow. Got you beat by 1. Local 3 here. Okay, so we'll just jump into it. I gotta go close my door real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see right here, these are the links or phone numbers if you're feeling depressed, unwanted, have any issues at all, family, work, anything at all. If you feel like self harm or anything, 988, call it. There'll be a professional there to talk to you. Vice versa, just right here. This one down here. This is 741-741. This is a text chat. There'll be a professional on the end of the line just for someone to talk to. Those are our two primary numbers that you can call or text to get help for yourself. So just get that started and out of the way. We'll jump into. I had a whole bunch of stuff laid out here. Let's see. So I was doing some study on the history of how our mental health and stuff is like that. Let me see. I had a whole bunch of statistics and stuff all laid out. I don't know if I got them organized properly. So, here we go. All right. So, we're talking about saving lives here, your coworkers, friends, family, anyone. So, but the primary objective of this conversation is construction, your fellow coworkers. So let me see. In 2024 and 2025, those are the two studies that I read. In 2024, the average self harm, suicide, depression rate was around 54% of workers in construction trades, primarily construction, which is, I think they were saying, believe it's 23% higher than the national average. And in 2025, last year, so this is 2023, 2024, 2025. I haven't gotten the results yet, but in 2024, it went from 53% to 63% of workers in construction felt hopeless, some kind of depression, whatever, but it's just not something that our industry we talk about. We just get into doing things that are just work, and we work ourselves to death pretty much. We have pressure from home, we have pressure from builders, you got family, you're pressuring yourself to do things, your company's pressuring you to work harder, longer hours. I'm lucky enough I don't have to worry about the long hours anymore. Mostly our crew in the company I work for, they try to keep it 8 to 10 hours. We do have a couple of crews though that are working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, sometimes more than that even, because they're on a high pressure job and our crew's not on that job. We're doing other projects that are better suited to our talents, which is open cut, put it in as fast as possible, and sometimes smaller detailed things that push the limits of what we should and should not be doing. And it's just we're a get it done crew. So when you introduce yourself into, let me see, I gotta get sorted here. Research information causes. So first thing I want to do is I checked out OSHA, the OSHA website. OSHA just has links to other sites. So OSHA just has their one page. It's just, I don't know, they've got a few links and then they call it good. They have prevention uh, web page links and stuff like that for companies, more or less. The main site, which I found most of my information on, is the AGC. It's agc.org, Mental Health Suicide Prevention. That's the site. Um, it's just a part of their site. The AGC is Association of General Contractors. The site was designed for helping contractors, primary contractors, and companies that you work for. And this is where I got the information from. So they've got a whole list of forums, contractor resources, education and training, stuff like that. They have videos, but mostly they provide education in the way of classes. So that's something your company would have to pay for to educate your company. Um, and there's other things. I mean, mental health and suicide also go into family life. Maybe one of your coworkers, maybe one of their children died or something like that, something crazy. Maybe they were in a car accident and their entire mental stability changed after that. Their outlook on life changed. And that happens. I mean, I had back surgery. My outlook on work versus life changed after I had surgery. Um, Trying to get this all straight. I didn't spend as much time on this as I should have this morning. Oh. All right. So, talk saves lives. This is one of the things, this is one of the programs about saving lives, just starting the conversation. Check in with your friends, coworkers, and stuff like that. Just sometimes a text message, a phone call, just, if somebody's been out on an injury or something happened in their family, you just walking up and giving them a hug and saying, I'm glad you're here. That could be the change that they need. That could be all they need to alter their mood enough to pull them out of that mode. It's little things that we do. Just a phone call, just say, hey, check up on them. Those things, especially veterans, you'll find that a lot in veterans. If you ever had watched anything about PTSD and veterans, sometimes they'll talk about the only reason they're here is because one of their squad mates had just made a random phone call. Random phone call showed up. He was thinking about it, about to do it, or whatever, and that one phone call stopped him. So we have a process. Um, okay, that one's. Please. I do not know why I have these other ones. Okay, let me see. So, what leads to suicide? There's no single cause for suicide. Suicide most often occurs when stress or health issues coverage to create a experience of hopelessness and despair. Uh, so I'm reading this straight from the website, so I'm trying not to make up my own stuff here. Uh, Depression is the most common condition associated with suicide and is often undiagnosed and untreated, especially in construction. We self diagnose, we self treat with alcohol, drugs, and things like that, which is also another sign of something's wrong. So if you see one of your friends, coworkers, starting to drink or do drugs and start showing up at a different time. They're showing up later to work. They just think they're not showering or their clothes aren't changed. They're wearing the same clothes from the day before. Something's going on with them. That's a check-in moment. So these are things that you need to be aware of with your crews. Anxiety, see, and substance problems, especially when unaddressed, increased risk for suicide. Yes, it is important to note that most people who actively manage their mental health conditions go on to engage in life. So people that actually get help or seek help, they get better for the most part. I mean, it's not a 100% guarantee if they get help that they're going to get better. Some people are just predisposed to that mental line of health. Risk factors, health, mental health, depression, substance use problems, bipolar disorder. This is where they're happy and sad. One minute you're having a conversation with them, they're happy and everything, and the next second they turn around, they're yelling at you or other people. Personal traits of aggression, mood changes, and poor relationships, conduct disorders, anxiety disorders, um, serious physical health conditions, including pain, traumatic brain injuries. I've had a couple of those throughout my career, not only just in my line of work, but off work. Motorcycle crashes. I was in wrestling in high school. Got dumped on my head once, completely knocked me out. Most likely got a TBI from that. I had an accident at work, smacked my head, had my hard hat on, but it gave me a concussion even with the hard hat on. Um, Environment. So this is one that their environment, access to lethal means including firearms and drugs, prolonged stress such as harassment, bullying, relationship problems, or unemployment. This is why I brought this up. This is that time of year where we have a bunch of guys sitting at home because of either weather, work got slow because during the winter usually it slows down. Um, Prolonged stress. This is where we're working tons of hours, we're tired, we our bosses get we start falling behind on the project, so all the office people start hammering the foreman gets upset or whatever, and sometimes he starts hammering you to go faster. I've experienced that back in the 90s and early 2000s. Harassment, bullying on the job site. There is good bullying and there's bad bullying. Somebody that's just harassing and bullying someone, that needs to be taken care of. If you're not that person and you see it happening, you need to talk to both people separately. Talk to the guy that's getting bullied, say, hey, ignore him. This, he's just full of it. He's got a bad home life. You know something about this other guy that's doing the bullying. You can use that as information to give it to the guy that's being bullied. Most likely it's going to be a younger guy that's getting bullied because they're new, they don't know anything. And you got to go talk to the guy that's doing the bullying. Hey, dude, you got to chill out on this guy. You're going to push him off the crew, and he may respond with, good, we don't need him here. There's a lot of stuff that goes that way. If you have a guy on the crew that's doing that, you need to say, hey, just tell the boss and leave it at that. Do not talk to this guy anymore. because you're just pounding him. He's gonna fuck up worse because you're hounding him so bad. Uh, where are we at? Okay, environmentals. Exposure to other person's suicide or graphic or sensationalized accounts of suicide. Uh, Discrimination is another one, but the exposure. So you've got a family member that may have, you know, and they have an example on the website, a little short video of a father's son. The son committed suicide. The father in construction went downhill. He got help finally and came to terms with it, and understood that his son had made a decision that had nothing to do with him, but it doesn't make it hurt any worse, any less, but it helps you understand the issues that are happening. Or it helps you understand that there's nothing that you could have done in that situation. The discrimination, that's, yeah, you understand what discrimination is: race, color, um, ethnic backgrounds, just education level. Some people are just dumb, some people are too smart, and you've got that know-it-all guy. I'm unfortunately one of those. So most guys will come to me, and my crew, we've been working together long enough. Everyone, we all know each other very well. If they have questions about weird stuff, I usually have an answer. If I don't, I'll figure it out or find it out within a reasonable amount of time. Then there's the guy that knows how to get pipe in the ground. That's all he does. But when he starts interjecting into other things, it gets painful. Um, Historic. Let me see. Next up is historical: prevention of suicide attempts, family history of suicide, childhood abuse, neglect, and trauma, and generational traumas. Again, all of this stuff goes into a person's predisposition for all these emotions that uh, cause you to fall into a depressive state or a state in which you think about suicide or something like that. And again, man, it's just about making a connection with your fellow guys, understanding where they are in their life, and the ability to be able to pull them out of it just by saying, hey, you want to go fishing, you want to go hunting, you want to go to the racetrack, you want to go to a movie, you just want to go sit down and have a beer in the garage. Something that will separate them from that thought process, tell some funny stories, uh, anything. Anything like that will help a person come out of those states. But it's mostly you've got to get them interacting. Um, Protective factors. Let me see. Access to mental health care and being proactive about mental health. If you know somebody's having a problem, you've got these numbers right here. You can hand these numbers off to them and say, hey, dude, I think you need to make a call. Just set them aside, put them in a crew truck, tell them to do it at home, or tell them to go sit in their own car and just make a phone call and get themselves sorted out. Feeling connected to family and community support, problem solving and coping skills, limited access to lethal means. This is that's drugs, guns, whatever. So if you know somebody's having an issue, instead of calling authorities or doing one of these red flag law things, if it's super emergency, I personally am 100% against red flag laws. I would, unless you know 100% that it's going to happen if you don't make that call. Um, Other than that, you can just say, hey, dude, you got any guns in your house or anything like that? And say, hey, do you mind if I hold on to them for a little bit until you feel better? If you have a safe or some way of putting them somewhere, or even if it's to his own family members, um, whatever, you know the person better than I will, and you have a better idea of how you're going to treat that situation. The drug thing, they're gonna get a hold of drugs regardless of what you do. You can take the drugs away from them; they're gonna be able to go get more. Culture and religion, beliefs, that encourage connecting and help seeking. And this is something that's huge, especially with the younger groups. Uh, and most of these percentages that I talked about earlier have to deal with the Gen Z, millennials, Gen Y, this whole younger generation that's coming up with all these different ideas and all these different problems. They have created a world full of problems where the problems that they're worried about really don't matter. At least in us older guys, okay, you got purple hair. Who cares? Go to work. Okay, so this guy gave you the finger on the way to work. Well, here's a finger from me too. Go back to work. We don't have that. We have a very rough skin, leather like, and things bounce off us. We were taught at a young age, what was it? Sticks and stones may break my bones. Words will never hurt me. That's what we grew up with. So they didn't. They did not grow up with this. They did not grow up living on their own, like a latchkey kid out in the running around in the streets by themselves, having to figure out their own lives. They've been coddled, helicopter parents keeping them safe and whatnot, and that has created a world of weak men. And that's why these percentages have been going up, is they're dealing with things that they think are important to them, and to them they are super important. To us, we don't understand. I don't understand these problems, but we have to understand that these problems are real to them. So we need to figure out a way to not problem solve, but give them alternatives to increase happiness or worthness. Tell them, hey, you did a great job at work. If they did something right, hey, good job, do it again. Remember how you did that. Keep doing it that way. That's encouragement. That will get them all. That'll give them a little spark of, hey, I did something right. Okay, I'm good. Give them the warm fuzzies, a brownie point. If you need to carry a little package of gold stars, give them a gold star on their hard hat. That sounds stupid as hell, but for some people, that's what they need. Oh, okay. Get back into warning signs. Something to look out for when concerned that that person may be suicidal, and a change of behavior, or the presence of entirely new behaviors. This is of sharpest concerns if the new or changed behavior is related to a painful event, loss, or change. Most people who take their lives exhibit one or more warning signs, either through what they say or what they do. So we get into so now they have a list of talk. If a person talks about killing themselves, feeling hopeless, having no reason to live, being a burden to others, feeling trapped, or unbearable pain. So this is all emotional, and the unbearable pain this is just all emotional. So if they're talking about it, that means they're looking for help. And they need to be pointed to one of these numbers over here to get started and find help. So either that, even going to a general practitioner, their family doctor, just starting somewhere, point them towards a doctor. We are not doctors. We do not have the solutions. We can give them a direction and some encouragement. I think that's the best that we have, because there is a section in here that talks about what we should do and what we should not do. I'll get to that. Behaviors that may signal risk, especially if related to a painful event, loss, or change. Increased use of alcohol, drugs, looking for a way to end their lives, searching online for methods. I have actually seen this. Guys that have taught or been Googling, suicides and stuff like that. It's just it gets crazy. People that are watching videos of people committing suicide, they're desensitizing themselves to it, to encourage themselves to get closer to it. Withdrawing from activities. This is that guy that refuses to join in on anything. He sits by himself somewhere and doesn't want to engage with the crew. Isolating from family and friends, sleeping too much or too little. I sleep on the job, man. Lunchtime rolls around, slam my food. If I can't snack on it during just before lunch and then take time to sleep, that's because I'm old and I need old man naps. I'm not not isolating myself. Uh, Sleep too much or too late. That just happens. But a lot of these younger guys, they don't show up to work until they show up and pull up on the job 5 minutes before, still, and they jump out of the car, tie their shoelaces because they just slipped into their boots or whatever, and they're showing up at the line at 7 o'clock instead of being there, early. You got to tell them, hey, if you're going to be here 15, 20 minutes early. Just get them to show up that early is a miracle. But if you got guys that show up on a regular basis, I'm always half an hour early. Always. Gives me times to sleep in my truck before work. Gives me a little nap, or I get out, have my drink, my coffee, hot chocolate, whatever you guys are doing, and just gets things going. Okay, visitor calling people to say goodbye. That's a huge one there. Giving away prized possessions. Me, I give stuff away every so often. I am not greedy, but I'm not frugal. So when I buy stuff for people, I gave a full pack of M&Ms to a guy once, and he says, "Dude, are you okay? You're giving me your candy." It's like, dude, I just don't feel. I'm just not in the mood to eat them. So they've been in my back bag for a couple of days. Just here you go. I know you'll like them. Um, to me, sometimes people look at me and say my snacks are my prized possessions. Aggression and fatigue and aggression. So I have my days. I I am fully aware of my emotional state when I'm at work. Sometimes I'll just show up and I'll be angry for something that's happened either at home or whatever reason, and my bosses, Santiago and Andy, they recognize, hey, dude, what's wrong? And a little 5 minute chat, boom, I've got it out of me. That's all I needed. I just needed to take it off my shoulders. I'm better. The workday goes by easier for everyone else around me. Because if I'm upset, then I'm making everyone else upset and it makes the entire job miserable. So if I'm getting aggressive, I've got two guys that know me that will pull me aside, say, hey, what's up? I get it out, done, back to work, normal procedures. Everyone's happier. That's not going towards suicide, but it is a you're relieving a pressure valve when you do that. If you see a guy that's angry about something, pull him off to the side. Say, hey, dude, you all right? Everything okay? Get them to talk. If they talk, they're relieving that pressure, and it helps. All right. Mood. Depression, anxiety, loss of interest, irritability, humiliation or shame. The humiliation or shame of something that happened in their life or they did at work that made them feel like an idiot. You know, they did something stupid. Hey, slap them on the back. Hey, you did something dumb. Don't do it again. Let's keep going. You're a good worker. Let's keep going. Learn from it. Uh, Aggravation, anger, relief or sudden improvement. So this is a key one here. Relief or sudden improvement in somebody that is or has been in a depressive state for a longer period of time. You know that they're having a problem. So they had a loss, something happened at home, and they've been super depressed. And then all of a sudden, snap, they are in a better state. What this is them in their head. They have made a decision to do something. They are just waiting for the moment at this point. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. I get home, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to take my bottle of pills, I'm going to hammer down a handle of whiskey or whatever it is, or go to the safe, pull out the gun, and boom, done. Self deletion. Uh, that is a big one there. If you see somebody that's been depressed and then all of a sudden they're better, it's a sign. It's not always the right. It's not always that. It just could be that they went to church or something and then had a good conversation with someone, and the pressure valve has been released, and they do feel better. But it won't be a 100% swing one way to the other. If they have that pressure relief, that depression's still going to be there in some form, but they feel better. So the sudden relief and sudden improvement, that's a signal that does need to be looked out for. Uh, Moving on, having an honest conversation. Talk to them in private, listen to their story, tell them you care about them. Ask directly if they are thinking about suicide. That's hard to do, man. That is so hard to do. I have asked that question one time in my 30 plus years. I've asked that one time. And they said they were not suicidal, that they just been depressed for a while over something that happened, like their dog died or something. And they were just, I mean, you're talking about some people. I get depressed when my dogs die. Um, it took me, God, I think 6 months to get over it. My wife said, "That's it. I'm tired of this bullshit. We're gonna go get you another dog." We went to the SPCA. I got on the website. I kind of got excited. Found a dog I wanted. We went there and picked him up. Still, when I think of my old dog, Boomer, can still hurts. Uh, so okay, encourage them to seek treatment. Contact their doctor or therapist. If they don't have a therapist, they need one. Contacting their doctor. I mean, again, general practitioner will be able to point them in the right place. Again, phone numbers. Avoid debating. So this is the big one here. Avoid debating the value of life, minimizing their problems, or giving advice. The only advice you should be giving is this right here, these numbers. Okay, but telling them that they are of value to you, and that you want them there, and that they mean something to you. Minimizing, debating the life of value, talking about God and whatnot, and that telling them that God would not want them to kill themselves and stuff like that. That you're debating life with them, which could actually drive them further into it. Minimizing their problems. They're, again, like I said earlier, their problems are their problems and they are real to them. So don't minimize the problem. You just need to get them to talk about them and try to release that pressure valve. And giving advice to them, and if it's unwanted advice, like if they didn't ask you for advice directly on what to do, I don't give them an advice other than you need to seek professional help with somebody that is trained in how to handle the situation, because we are not trained in it. Assume you are the only one who will reach out. Assume you are it. You've seen that they are in that state, that they have gone downhill somewhat, and that they are heading in that direction. Assume you're the only one that notices it. Take an action. Take action. Do something. So we go into the next section here. If you're concerned about someone, talk in private. Just pull them aside, have a conversation with them. You're in the ditch with them, or you jump up on the side of their machine, stop them, and just say, "Hey, man, talk to them. 5 minutes." That's usually all it takes. Sometimes even it could be 2 sentences, or 1 sentence, or even 4 words. Our crew, we've gotten into the habit of telling each other we love each other. It's weird. My response is, "Yes, dear." That's what I tell everybody. That's my I love you to them, or we give each other the finger first thing in the morning and then go about our lives. We know everything's okay. Somebody is not responding with a finger, they probably have a problem. um, if someone talks that they are thinking about suicide, take that person extremely seriously. Immediately, immediately tell the people above you. If you're the foreman, tell your superintendent. If you're a worker, tell your foreman. Um, or find his best friend, or find someone that's above you to move this up the ladder and get this taken care of. Get it under a microscope as fast as possible. Um, be sure to follow up with them after the crisis to see how they're doing. Um, if you're struggling, don't wait for someone to reach out. Now, this is on the other side. This is if you're the one having the problem. So I'm talking to the guys that have that depression, have the anxieties, and feel that there is no hope. There is hope out there, man. People love you. Um, I love you. I need your views on my channel to make me more successful. So I need you. Don't. It's so all this stuff. I mean, don't wait for someone to reach out to you, man. You're in control of your life. You get to do it. You have control. If you're feeling depressed or anything like that, talk to your doctor. Call one of these numbers, or even text this number, 741 There is a chat person. There's live people on the ends of these lines. They will talk to you. And they're trained in how to help you. So don't keep it to your side. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't keep it closed in. Find someone you trust and talk to them. Mm. All right. So if a person comes to you and says that they are considering suicide, whether this be on the job, most likely that this is where we contact most of our workers, is our friends at work, is we see them on the job site. So if you have someone that's considering suicide, take that person seriously, stay with them, help them remove lethal means. If they have anything on them, their lunchbox, keep them away from their lunchbox and their vehicles. Um, I know that contradicts something I said earlier. Uh, get them to make the call, because once you know that they are feeling suicidal, they cannot be alone any longer. You have to stay with them until the immediate crisis is over and they feel a little bit better. So, and again, so there's a text talk. I just mentioned 741 So you can text a trained crisis counselor. That's 24/7. Doesn't matter the day or anything. If need be, foreman, superintendent, escort them to a mental health services or an emergency room. All right, so that's most of the depressing stuff. For you guys that are still hanging out, um, have any of you ever? I know Tran, you have not have any. I don't think you would have any job site related issues, being that you're still in school. It's There's just so much of the stuff. I mean, and you can, like I said, you guys can look this up on the agc.org, their mental health and suicide prevention plan and training. So if you're with a company that doesn't have a training plan or anything like that, maybe you should recommend them check it out and get a program that's in the company, so they have something in the works. That way the superintendents and foremans at minimum have some kind of plan involved. So have any of you guys, so Dirt Garage, have you ever dealt with anything like this? I don't know how long you've been working, so give me a little bit of history on yourself, so I got a kind of idea who you are and what you've done. And I'm going to have a little bit of eye bleach I'm going to bring in here in a minute just before we sign out, just to kind of change things up a little bit. But like I said, 30 years, I've only had one real experience with this. We have had I have been around when a suicide has happened. Um, it actually happened in a trailer park. The guy that was in the trailer right next to me had downed a bottle of pills and a whole bunch of alcohol, and he was not more than 15 feet from me. I got up in the morning, got in my truck, went to my job site. He was working on a different job site, different crew, but that little check-in. If I had walked over to his trailer and knocked on his door or whatever, um, you know, I mean, would I have caught it or would I have prevented something earlier? What had happened with him is the foreman, he never showed up on the job site. The foreman sent somebody back to the yard to get him, and then that's when they found him. So the whole thing lit off after that. Yeah, it's crazy. The guy eventually did come back to the company. I think it was about 6 months later after getting treatment and stuff. So he was unsuccessful. He was found in time, and I talked to him, and he's having a beer in the parking lot. Cleaned up his trailer, and gotten rid of anything in there that was not complete, extremely harmful to him. He didn't live in the best conditions. He just wasn't in that shape. I mean, you're in construction long enough, you'll run into those guys that just don't take care of themselves. Um, it is what it is, but you got to watch out for those guys, because those guys are most likely going to be the ones that do it. I mean, I didn't see any signs. I mean, we sit down every night. We would have a group barbecue because we had about 7 or 8 trailers, guys in them, some guys sharing trailers, and we would sit outside, have a barbecue pit, whatever. All go to bed. We all get up in the morning. We go our separate ways to different jobs, and one guy doesn't. Is what it is. And again, like I said, even some of us older guys, you get some of the older guys, family members pass on. But so we're getting to the end of this. I'm gonna bring in my eye bleach for you and change the mood so you can see something. All right, so come here, come on. So, come here. He's arguing with me. Eye bleach. I learned this from another guy. I watch videos that aren't necessarily, they're war related. It's something that I do. I love history and current history of what's going on. So I search out for those kinds of things, which may be disturbing to other people. But the dude at the end of all his videos, Cappy's Army, that's the guy. At the end of the show, he always brings up his little puppy and calls it the eye bleach to help get rid of all the bad thoughts and everything. So I hope you guys enjoy. This is Odie. And this is my wife's dog. My dog over here is a German Shepherd. Come here, Seb. Come on, up. So here's Seven. She's not going to look at you guys. She'll just want to lick my face. Here, turn around over here. Ah, here you are. She hates that. But those are the 2 little guys that keep me sane. So anyways, guys, I hope this is educational. And remember, if you're having issues, over here are the numbers. And if you know somebody that's having an issue, talk to them. Be a friend. That's it. That's all you got to do. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and log this out because I want to spend some time with the dogs and get rid of some of these thoughts of this show. It's been a little depressing. I spent 3 or 4 days reading over this crap. So with that, thank you for logging in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, keep your butt level and your ditch straight.